All right, so you've joined us today because you want to know what's the best EDC pistol out there. Or you already own one and you want to know how might you be able to upgrade and get something better that will fit all your needs. So while there is likely no one size fits all for an EDC pistol for an individual, depending on where you work, what you wear, how you dress as you're moving around town or going about your daily process. In this video, we're not going to cover all the different locations that you might carry, but we're going to go through a lot of different really good top-end EDC pistols, and you can decide based on their size where you might carry it and which one might fit your needs the best.
Shrift Tactical here. As you can see, we have an array of carry pistols here on the table. Some great options here ranging from the mid $200 range all the way up to $600, minus a couple of the accessories that are on these, like the red dots. We're going to talk about some of the pros and cons that we found about each one of these pistols, and Jared's going to jump into it right now.
Absolutely. Okay, so number one, got the Ruger Max 9. This is their newest release, which is the red dot ready model. I did bring the magazine out as well. As you can see, the magazines only come in 12-round variants, and they have this little finger extension here, which my hand's relatively small, but it's still nice to have that. I think you'll probably appreciate that piece, or you did when we were shooting it. This is a striker-fired 9mm pistol. Right out of the box, some of the things that are nice is front serrations, rear serrations. It does have a manual safety. You kind of bring it in right there, and you can see there's a manual safety on this one. That's the only way that it comes that I'm aware of. Trying to think what else. So shot really nicely, fits well in the hand. This is $269. This one has the Romeo Zero on it, which is a $100 red dot. But I thought it shot really well, and I appreciate the mag capacity. The 12+1 is really nice on that, that stack and a half that they do. What were your thoughts when you were shooting this one?
Well, overall, for the price point, I don't want to pick on it too much. As you can see here, and I'm going to bring my hand in, I'm a big proponent of having that extra magazine purchase right there. It makes a big difference for me. Shooting it initially, definitely a little poppy, but it's a small gun. And, with the smaller pistols, being poppy is fairly normal. So again, I'm not going to ride that too much. I will say the biggest thing I noticed the very first time I shot it, I went to get inside the trigger guard here, and my finger pressed on the side of the safety on the trigger, and just some side pressure on there while trying to pull it back, it actually locks the whole trigger mechanism up. And even as I pull and wiggle on it, I can't get that trigger to actually release unless I reset my finger and get in there. And I did that completely just by a random incident when I first went to go shoot it. So that's something that I kind of thought was a little funny. And this, I've only shot this thing once, so I mean, it may be something that I wouldn't notice again. It could have been a fluke, but however, that's kind of one thing I would add to that bad boy there. So
one other thing to note, there's no accessory rail here on the dust cover, so you got that not working for you. But in terms of 270-ish bucks, it's got a $100 red dot. So you're at sub $400. You could appendix carry, you could 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You can carry this thing wherever. It's relatively lightweight. Again, Ruger's done a great job with kind of following the trends of the market, and they put something together that I think is really nice.
Absolutely. All right, next we're going to talk about Taurus's GX2. Now, I'm a big fan of this pistol. I'm a really big fan. There is mainly one negative I'm just going to throw out there about it real quick. It's not red dot ready. And that's really the only thing bad I can say about it. Kind of thought they were going to come out with a Toro slide by now. They haven't, as far as I know. But that being said, the GX4 carry model is fairly close to the same size, and it does come red dot ready. So they may not come out with the slide for that reason, or they may surprise us. However, I love this thing. It fits in my hand. It's got great texture, as you can see here. The grip is almost Walther-esque. It really fits well in my hand. And I really can't say anything but great things when I'm shooting this pistol. It really feels good. This thing blows everything away, especially at the price point. What are these things running? About what, 270?
270, 275.
270, 75.
And they come in a bunch of colors, which is cool.
That's true, yeah. So yeah, awesome. What do you think?
Yeah, this one, a couple of things about it. It's got the accessory rail up front, so you can put a light on it if you want to. Front and rear serrations, again. A driftable rear sight, front sight's fixed. We have a separate review video on this one, and it fits so well in the hand. And one of the things is,
it's a dream to shoot.
You guys know me at this point. It's got the touch points for your offhand thumb on both sides. I think it just makes returning your grip to posture if need be. It just points so well because of that. Another weapon with an external safety. It's very low profile, very much out of the way. If you don't want to use it, just leave it off. But certainly sweeping it off with your thumb as you draw and point, not very difficult at all. So we've spoken very highly of this before, and sometimes I forget, and then we go out and we film with it, and oh my gosh, I forget how much I like this thing.
It's very smooth shooting firearm, and 13+1. I don't know if we mentioned.
Oh
that.
yes,
So,
good point. 13+1 on
So.
that one. We'll slide that girl down there. Okay, next up, same line, slightly different line, same company, the Taurus GX4. Now I've had this one for a number of years. I initially bought it without the red dot ready slide. They didn't have the Toro slide at the time. But it was new at the time, and I thought, man, that thing looks really cool. Fits my hand relatively well. You can get it with an extended mag. I run it with the flat base magazines because, again, I like the concealability.
Little hands.
That's also
concealability. My bad.
Yeah, that's also true. This one is, gosh, what was this? This was $360-ish, $350-ish dollars, I think, at the time. I'm sure they're less expensive now. And again, this one has a Romeo 0 on it. But front and rear serrations. It's got the touch point, again, like we've talked about on the GX2. For that offhand thumb for your shooting. I really like having that location. This one does not have an external safety. And as you just mentioned, they now have a larger version of this, the GX4 carry. But this is an 11+1, at least the way that I run it. And the triggers on these are fantastic. So really similar in a lot of ways. That one's slightly larger, but this one has made it into my carry rotation and hasn't left. What were your thoughts on this one?
Nothing much more to add, I'll be honest. Not the most pleasant thing to shoot, but again, here we are beating a dead horse. The smaller the pistol in your hand, it's obviously not going to be as comfortable to shoot. But overall, a great option in a small package. Yep. Absolutely. So, yeah.
Very good. All right, what's up next?
Oh, we've got this little noisy cricket. Yeah, LCP Max here. Not a pleasure to shoot at all. You know, and again, small in your hand, but you know, this thing fits the bill.
Even in my hands, it's small.
It fits the bill in the rotation as far as carrying when you're at the lake, you're at the park, you're wearing some board shorts or some shorts or whatever. It's right in the pocket. It looks like a wallet. You know, a cell phone, something like that. So that's where this thing really comes in handy, and that's where it fits into my rotation when I'm carrying, is under those circumstances. A little pricier, you know, in the mid 300s, you know, 360 range potentially. They do offer a range of colors. I think they even have it in a 22, correct?
Yep.
Other than that, there's not much to say about it. I think it is a 10+1, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and an internal hammer system.
Yes.
Yep.
So all of these are strikered except for that one is that internal hammer.
So anywho, there's that.
Yeah, front and rear serrations again. Tritium front sight, which is a nice little upgrade. I would say, you know, the trigger is really nice. If you've ever shot the LCP2, very similar to that in terms of the trigger, but this one has that stack and a half that has become so popular. So to be able to carry 11 rounds of 380, which has come a long way in its ability to, you know, be a self-defense round, especially when you're not wearing something that allows you to carry any of these other options. It's a whole lot better than nothing.
Definitely the best out of its line, its family, from the original LCP to the 2 and to the Max. Absolutely. So.
All right. Stepping up to another maybe price category, you might say, this is the Glock 43X. This is the MOS version. This one has the Vortex Defender red dot on it. This ran about $490. You can probably find them used for a little bit less. If you get the non-MOS, it'll be a little bit cheaper, maybe like $450. It's a Glock, right? Like when we start talking about Glocks, we just say it's a Glock. It's the traditional Glock stippling, which isn't saying a whole lot. It does have front and rear serrations. Of course, it's got typical Glock sights that you could upgrade if you wanted to. It does have the Gen 5 trigger. So really, I know Glock takes a lot of crap for their triggers, and there's the whole, well, the best Glock trigger is one that has 2,000 rounds through it. I really don't think this one's that bad. I shoot this gun relatively well. Typical Glock accessory rail on the dust cover, but it's a Glock. You know, what are your thoughts?
It's a Glock. That's my thoughts. I think a lot of us, you know, especially the Glock fanboys, have probably become numb to that trigger. And I like it. Follow-up shots are great. You know, my main carry as far as, you know, let's call it a duty, you know, carry Firearms a 19X. So shoot a lot of Glocks. So the trigger feels just like it. It is, you know, it's a little narrow. You know, it could use some stippling, but those are all some things that you can add later down the road. But definitely a super cool package. What was the story on the magazine? On these?
Yeah, so it comes with 10-round magazines, but there's a couple companies out there who make 15-round metal mags for them. There's Shield Arms, and they make 15-round magazines. If you go with theirs, you got to change out your mag release because you don't want metal or plastic on metal. The other company is Palmetto State Armory, which is God's company, of course.
Yep.
They make a metal magazine, but it's got plastic on the front, so you don't have to change your mag release. And those are also 15-round mags. So a small, thin package that I can appendix carry. I can 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock this thing. I can carry it wherever I want to, and have the 15 rounds as opposed to the 10 rounders that come with it. So far, haven't had any failures to feed, issues with the magazines, and I've been running a couple of PSA mags. So.
Yeah. And definitely comparable up to you know, the Springfield there with a little bit cheaper of a price point. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. What's next?
All right, we're going to talk about Sig's P365. So we've got their Coyote Tan one here. I've got the mag in there just to show you. It comes with a couple options. You either got your 12+1 option, a 12-round mag, or you comes with a 10, which is going to be more flush mount. Again, for me, as you can see, I am a big proponent of having that extra bit down there on the bottom of the magazine. And also, I'm not going to complain about a couple extra rounds either. This thing is a dream. I used to carry it more. I don't carry it that much anymore, but every time I go out and shoot it, the trigger's awesome. I love it. The thing, follow-up shots, everything. It's just a great pistol. I got the Romeo Elite on here. The Romeo Elite, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not going to tear into it too big. It's got a wake sensing. What do you call that? About motion sensing, so it awakes when you move it. So if you're carrying it, it's constantly waking up. I go through batteries at least once a month, if not faster than that. I've contacted Sig. They say that's normal. They say, turn the light down, depending on if you're indoors or outdoors. And I'm like, man, these batteries are getting eaten alive. And that's the Romeo Elite here. And that sight still runs roughly about $180, $185, depending on where you can find it. I'll sell this one to you. I'll give it to you for a steal. Anyway.
In the comments, leave your PayPal.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, this thing's going to run roughly $500, you know, depending on where you're going to find it. But super, super great pistol.
Yeah, so like the forefather of the stack and a half, right? Like this is where it all began when they came out with this size, but with the 10-round mags, where everyone else was running single stacks. And I was like, oh my God. And this is also proof that striker fired triggers are not all the same. We talked about the Glock trigger, and the Glock trigger's fine. And I shoot fine with it. But compared to the Ruger or the Taurus, and they're fine. Everything, they're all good. But this shows that a striker fired trigger can be better than average. And this one truly is. Front and rear serrations. Comes with tritium sights, at least the newer versions of this come with tritium sights. Yep. Has an accessory rail on the dust cover if you want to run a light. But, you know, tried and true, great to shoot, really excellent weapon, and probably has a place in a lot of people's carry rotation. All right, diving in. So we had the founding father of the stack and a half. How about the founding father of just carrying 15 rounds in a semi-compact package? To think that this used to be considered like a compact pistol is pretty nuts, but that just shows you how far we've come. This is the Glock 19. This is the Gen 4. This comes, as you guys know, with a 15-round magazine. This one's not an MOS version, but of course they sell this with an MOS. It's similar to the 43X. It's a Glock. It shoots great. Again, every time we go out and we shoot and we pull out one of these, you know, factory Glocks, and we just kind of laugh about how nice it is to shoot, because it's the truth. They are really, really great. So Gen 3s and Gen 4s, obviously you can do some stuff with the triggers. Gen 5s you can as well, but it's a different setup. Not a whole lot to say other than it's a great weapon, and even though this isn't about like buy one for everything, this definitely could fit that. I only have enough money for one Glock, and this is the one I'm going to buy. What does this run? $5?
Right around $5. $4.99 depending. I mean, they may go on sale. You might even be able to scrounge up some 3rd gen still, but the price wise, they really don't change too much. I mean, 5th gen they jump up another almost $100, I think. But again, not much to say here. This is really anybody that comes new to shooting and wants a firearm. This is like top of the list, and you know, I mean, if it's a friend of mine, we're going to go out shooting, this is the first thing I put in their hand. It just seems to fit everybody, and it, again, I love it. We're shooting all these small little compact pistols, and then you put this in your hand and your follow-up shots, everything's just like, oh God, that's awesome. So just a little reminder how awesome it is. But again, not much more to talk about it. It's again, it's a Glock. All right, that leaves us with Springfield's Hellcat Pro. I'm a super big fan of this thing as well. You know, that seems to be kind of a repeat that comes out of my mouth every time I pick one up. We've got Red Dot Ready. We've got Vortex Defender CCW here. What does this thing run? Mid 200s?
250, yeah.
Yeah, you might be able to pick one up used, you know. We've got a Streamlight TLR 7A flashlight on here as well. Again, just the package as a whole. The stippling on it, as you can see, right out of the box. trigger on this thing is awesome.
Yeah.
Actually feels maybe a little heavier than the Glock when we were out just going back and forth as far as that 43X. But again, I can't say enough about it. However, unfortunately, you know, is at the top of the price point for this size. You know, you're looking about $600. They do come with 3 mags typically. The one I ended up purchasing, probably maybe a little bit older one, only came with 15 round mags. I do believe there is a 17 round mags out there for them now, but it actually comes in quite a big package. And you know, if you look at your big box stores, you know, whether it be Sportsman's, Cal Ranch, maybe Bass Pro, stuff like that, they actually have different kind of models that are exclusives, I think is the word I'm looking for. They come red dot, everything kind of set up in a bag, and it's kind of cool. So, but anyways, a great pistol. So
yeah, this was, and so obviously this is the Pro, and the newer versions of this, they actually have one with a comp on the front too, or it's ported really is what it is. So that helps with some recoil mitigation. The original release of this was the Hellcat itself, which was a slightly smaller. It was closer to size of 365, but it was an 11+1, and that was this was the next one out. Was the Hellcat. You know, front and rear serrations, again, you talked about the trigger. It feels really good. It breaks cleanly. It is a bit of pressure to get it to break, but it breaks cleanly. Also comes with a tritium front sight. And you know me, can't help but talk about the touch point for the off thumb. And this one actually has a bit of an indentation on it. So when you go to take your grip, you're not just having a place for your thumb to rest. It helps with recoil mitigation a little bit. This is a great pistol. It's also one of the thinnest pistols that we have on the table here. So despite the fact it runs metal mag, so you get 15 or 17 like you said, but it's a really thin package. This one is a hair too big for me to carry on the appendix carry, whether that's just the grip shape or size of the weapon. But this one I'll carry at 3 o'clock a lot during the winter time, or other times we're gonna have a shirt or a sweater on or something like that. But yeah, no, Springfield really they nailed it with this one.
Yeah, I carry this one predominantly. I'm actually carrying it right now, appendix right inside the waistband. Anyway, so this thing is #1 in my carry rotation, and it finds its way inside my waistband multiple times, and there's nothing sexual about that at all, at least not implied. So anywho, Jared, if you had to pick one on the table, let's say. Pick one on the table. What's your go-to?
Picking one, not talking about price.
And not a scenario other than just one carry pistol, because you were going to buy one and you weren't going to buy a whole slew of them.
Okay, yeah, you weren't going to be like us.
A wardrobe, yeah.
Ooh, that's all right. I'm going to pick the Glock 43X with the caveat of the 15-round magazines. So as I continue to run rounds and rounds and rounds through those, as long as I don't get a failure. So while it's not squarely in my carry rotation yet, because I need it to prove itself completely, that still falls to the Hellcat Pro and my GX4. This will become the mainstay once I prove that those magazines work great. And I like its size because I can appendix carry, like I said, and I really like appendix carrying a lot of times. So that's what I would go for. Balling on a budget of the lower cost options we have on the table. I'm gonna go with. Can I call the Taurus GX4 balling on a budget at $360?
You know, it's probably third in the line we got on the table, but I think so.
Okay,
I mean, it's down there. I mean,
I'm gonna go with Taurus GX4. The fact that it's red dot ready for me is a game changer. And while it's only 11+1, at least the way that I carry it, spare mag, and I'm gonna hope that that's enough. This is an excellent weapon for the money. What about you?
Okay, #1, as I said earlier, it's going to be the Springfield, the Hellcat. Again, I just aesthetically, visually, I love it. Looking at it, you know, and mine's set up pretty much the same exact way. I've got actually a cheap little CT red dot on it. I mean, it's like a $90 red dot on Amazon or something. Came on the pistol, but dang, the thing just stays on. Actually, I've had it for a couple of years now, and the battery hasn't died once.
Go figure.
It's weird. So anyways, that's definitely my #1. Again, I carry it appendix a lot of times, especially, you know, walking around. I've carried it inside, you know, right at the 3 o'clock range. You know, again, huge fan of it. Everything about it makes me happy. On a budget, gosh, it's hard to get away from the GX2.
Yep.
And size-wise, I mean, it's right in here. It fits great. I have not had my hands on one. I'd love to see the Taurus, the GX, the GX4, the GX4 carry. Thank you very much. I'd love to see that red dot ready, and then you know, we're partying, and that would be where I was at. I wish I had the price on that one. Maybe throw a little thing, maybe right here.
We're here.
on what that bad boy cost. So anyways, that's where I'm at. So again, as always, guys, we really appreciate you guys watching it. We'd love to hear what you have to say about any of these pistols, or just what's your EDC. We'd love to hear different opinions on why you picked that one, where you carry even. And again, one more time, as always, we love the fact that you guys watch our videos. We appreciate you taking the time. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.